Helmar fans, this is Carissa, and this week we've paired up with Buttons Galore, one of our preferred partners, to bring you a lot of fun projects. And today I'm making this video sharing with you a card that I'm going to make using Helmar and some Buttons Galore that I got. So the haberdashery buttons is the one that I have. You can see there it says I got the retro style. And you get this little baggie full of buttons, different sizes, shapes, colors, really a good variety. So the paper that I'm using for this is called Fun Day Craft by My Mind's Eye. And I'm also going to be using a variety of Helmar adhesives, the Premium Craft Glue, the 450 Quick Dry, and Zap Dots. And the stamps that I'm using today come from the March 2012 Kit of the Month by Unity Stamp Company. I'm going to be using that banner stamp as well as that diamond background stamp and one of the sentiments that says, "Happy birthday to you," as I create a birthday card. So I originally started out using craft, but then I was thinking, well, this is craft designer paper, so I wanted to find a colored paper cardstock that matched the paper here. And so that's what I'm doing here, just trying to match up, find the right color that would work well with this paper stack that I'm going to be using. And I end up using this greenish blue one. And I make standard A2 size cards. So I just take my cardstock and cut it in half and then score it at the 5.5 to make a standing card. Really easy. I love doing this. I love this size because I get the 2 card bases out of 1 sheet of cardstock. Makes it a lot simpler for me. So now I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my background on the cardstock itself. I'm using a chalk stamp by Studio G. It's really nice pigmented and gives me a lot of color on this cardstock. And I'm just going to put down a craft mat under my card because I'm going to stamp off the page a little bit. And you can see I messed up here, but that's okay. I'm just going to add a little bit more ink and stamp it right again over on that. So really simple, great way to add a little bit of a texture to your card stock itself. And now I'm stamping the banner directly on my cardstock to give me the layout of where I'm going to stamp. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create each banner and a different pattern from this cardstock or from this paper pad. So I'm just going to stamp the banner several times on the different patterns and then fussy cut out each little piece to create the banner on my card. It's a great way to add do something different with your stamps. I love paper piecing. So I'm just stamping over and over, and then I'm going to cut them out, try to figure out where I want to cut. And one of the things that you'll see that I do, which makes it a lot easier when you're doing fussy cutting like this, you'll kind of cut out the piece that you want to cut around and then go in again and cut out the intricate piece. It just lets your cutting go a lot more smoother, and you can really get into those detail areas a lot easier. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm just going to cut out all the pieces. And now with this circle, I found a punch that was about the same size by Martha Stewart. It's a scallop punch. I think it's a 1-inch. And it lined up pretty well with that image. So I'm just going to use that to pop that up. And now I'm going to ink the edges of my cardstock with that same white ink to tie in that background that I created. And just pull it all together. Now I'm lining up the pieces, and here I can tell that I didn't quite cut correctly on that last piece on the end. And so I'll just re-stamp and cut it out again so that I get that full area. Sometimes when you're cutting on pattern paper, you don't quite see where you need. And this was a different stamp. Has a lot of different edges with the lines and stuff, so I wasn't quite sure, but not a problem. I can just redo it and fix it. And so that's what I'm doing right here. Just recutting that piece to add to the side. And there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm distressing the edges of the banner. And because of that, the way the banner is double pointed there, I'm using my scissors rather than the distress tool to get really into that corner piece. And this is a great technique as well. If you don't quite have the distress tool, you can just use your scissors like this to get that same effect. So I'm also going to add some distress ink and black soot around the edges. Originally I thought I was going to pop these up with zap dots, but I changed my direction and adhered them to the card itself. So I'm just lining them up again after I've distressed the edges. And I'm going to use a Helmar Premium Craft Glue to adhere these little pieces directly to the cardstock. This craft glue is great for paper piecing. It doesn't dry as quick as the Helmar 450 Quick Dry, so it gives you a little bit of time to kind of move things around if you don't get it quite lined up at first. And then of course it dries clear, so you don't have to have any worry about any of the adhesive showing around the edges. So now what I'm going to do is put some twine through the button here and create a little bit of a bow. I like doing this when I'm working with buttons to add a bit more flair and embellishment to my project. So then I'm going to go in and use the Helmar 450 Quick Dry for my button to that piece of paper on the circle. And like I said before, I love using the Helmar Quick Dry for heavier embellishments like buttons. And I'm just going to thread the pieces that I actually cut off of the bow into my other buttons that I'm using. I'm going to adhere these on the corner so they look like they're holding up that banner for me. So I'm almost done just adhering the smaller buttons to the side of the banner, also using 450 Quick Dry. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment "Happy Birthday to You" directly on the cardstock in the bottom corner, kind of overlapping on the background. And to adhere the circle, I'm using the large white zap dots. And to adhere the star, I'm using the smaller acrylic zap dots. They're clear and they don't have as much height to it because I didn't want those two pieces to be the same. So, and then to add a little bit more pop to the star, I'm going to add some stickles around the edges. So I hope you enjoyed watching me put together my card today using Buttons Galore and Helmar products along with the Unity stamps. And continue to check us out this week as we share more projects.